I'm honored to recognize this year's Women's History Month honoree, Captain Andrea Hall. The national theme of recognizing women who are frontline workers and caregivers honors the way that women of all cultures and professions provide healing and hope throughout history. Women who serve in all branches of the military, whether active duty or civilian, bring their unique gifts and talents to their workplace and communities, sometimes at great sacrifice. Thank you for your service. Happy Women's History Month, and Semper Fidelis.
According to the National Women's History Alliance, the 2022 theme proudly honors those who in their public and private life provide healing and hope for all. As the first female firefighter here at MCLB Albany to reach assistant chief level, I also pay tribute to Captain Andrea Hall, a native of Albany, Georgia, and the first female firefighter to complete her training and probation period. She was also the first female relief driver for the Albany Fire Department and is the first Black woman to serve as fire captain for South Fulton Fire Rescue. I am honored to serve in this non-traditional role alongside you.
One of the things that I have learned, just based on my experience, especially in careers that are not often seen as careers that women would choose naturally or normally, when it's dominated by men, there are really no role models. I have really fond memories of growing up here. We had a great mix of sort of rural and urban, and my grandparents lived in the country, I would say, on a farm. So I have really great memories of being out there with the chickens and the cows, and then I would come back home into the city, and I had really great friends in our neighborhood. What I miss most, or what I remember most, is all the families that we used to live next to in our neighborhood. The moms, the dads, the children that we played with, those things really shaped me and helped me to become who I am now. This is really like deja vu. I remember sliding down this pole. I remember having dinner in that kitchen and running calls out of this station. It's a very nostalgic feeling. It's really heartwarming, to be honest with you. And it's good to be able to come home and see that although a lot has changed, not much really has, in a good way. I didn't have a really clear idea about what I wanted to be or what I wanted to do with myself when I grew up. I just was kind of floundering. So I had a little part-time job and I was going to school, not really focused on school. I went to Albany State. And I was majoring in student center. That wasn't what I chose on paper, but that's what I was actually doing. So I was just wasting my parents' money, didn't have a real idea about what I was going to do. And I had a cousin who worked for the fire department. And so on my way to my part-time job, I would always see him sitting out on the pad, barbecuing something on the grill. So like most people, we have this misnomer that firefighters don't do anything but cook chili and hang out all day, right? So I stopped by the station. I said, hey, what is it that you do? What is it that you guys do? And if he had just answered that question, I probably wouldn't be here today. But he kind of issued me a challenge. And so I took him up on it, and the rest is history. That's how I became a firefighter. I think being the first sometimes is very, very difficult because not only are you facing these challenges, a lot of them in the blind, but you're also creating a path for other people to follow you. And I was 19 years old, so you can imagine the typical 19-year-old, you're not necessarily considering the responsibility of being the first or of making history. So that's really where I was. I just wanted to do a good job. I didn't want to disappoint my family. I didn't want to not do well. So that was the impetus for me being here. And the history making just kind of came with that.
Please welcome from the City of South Fulton, Georgia Fire and Rescue Department, President of the International Association of Firefighters, Local 3920, Fire Captain Andrea M. Hall for the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
That was an awesome experience. And the way that I was selected is I'm actually the president of a local firefighter association, chapter of the International Association of Firefighters. And because of some work that I had done with the International, I sort of kind of came to the attention of the general president of the organization at the time. My father was deaf. I grew up doing sign language. It was our sort of family language, our home language. And I wanted to make sure that those people in my life, because I have other relatives who are deaf and hard of hearing as well, and friends and family, and I just wanted to make sure that those people were a part of that experience with me. I had a good friend when the news came out that I would be participating in the inauguration. He reached out to me via text and said, "Is that you? Is that your name?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, I'll be watching you." He said, "I'll be watching you." And I said, "Okay." And I knew then that I would have to sign to make sure that they would be included in that process. This is an excerpt from a speech that was given by then Texas Governor Miriam Ma Ferguson. She was speaking at a women's convention, and I thought it was very profound and even very timely for where we are in 2022. I believe that women may do great things for the business world. It is an old thing to talk of women's intuition and her keen grasp on the little things of life. Yet whenever you find a successful woman, you find a woman who has taken her womanly ways along with her into her business world. A woman who has solved her problems with her heart as well as her head. A woman who has not allowed maudlin sentiment to overbalance her belief in kindliness and justice and fair play. What I have experienced in my career, which spans about 30 years now in the fire service, is that when we find ourselves in situations like this, it's very easy to assimilate to the culture because we want to get along, we want to be a part of the team, we want to be a part of the group, but we have to be very careful about that because women, as we are, we're very unique, we're very special, we bring a lot of great gifts to bear, and we want to be mindful that we're bringing those things because that is what makes our environment that much better. I would just say that for women who are in positions of leadership or are aspiring to those positions of leadership, make sure that first they are being the best leaders that they can be with whom, being authentic in who they are. And then secondly, reaching back and helping to develop those young women who are coming behind them. That's so important. And I see often that that's a missing link in how we sort of support one another. Sometimes we're so busy with other things that we forget to reach back and bring someone with us. You are strong. You are beautiful. You are loved. Thank you.